Good evening and welcome one and all. It's your Tuesday night worth of sim racing. That means it's one place only. It's the AC Audi TT Trophy. Your second course and night of racing brings us to the Scottish circuit of Knockhill. And what a circuit to have. Elevation changing more than a roller coaster. Herbs that could shatter a spine. Indeed, good evening. Thank you for joining. It's a pleasure to have you all here at Knockhill. Round 2, as we see in Alton Park last week around the Island Circuit, and a lot more tracks come up further on this season as well. Not just Knockhill this evening, but Road Atlanta, Watkins Glen, Zoldon Club Motorsports, all featuring within this 6-week season of season 6. That's a tongue twister. Regardless, we're here this evening with this one major championship of the Audi TT Cup cars racing away for their three races this evening, should I say, quarter-hour sprint races for your viewing entertainment with a reverse grid as well. The standings, as we are going into now qualifying very quickly, just glanced at the standings after the first round. Alfie Bevan overall is taking the lead with 190 points from Pavot to Kalzak to Skora to Hines, Silver, Kankos, Hill, Bain and Wood, your top 10, or tied top 9 actually. Ben Beams in 11th, Corona Blitz 12th, Adam Ely 30th, Ricardo Myatt, Adam is 16th, so I'm still not going to get over how to pronounce that surname. Christian Overstreet 17th, Brensden 18th, Bivodas in 19. Again, pronunciations, do send them across if I'm saying them wrong. If you're listening back, it's a pleasure to have you all regardless. In the Pro and Am standings, however, let's split them up a little bit. We'll see Alfie Bevan in the Pro standings. Pro class is leading the way from Pavo to Kalzak. Skora, Hine, Silver, Hill and Bain is the 8-car class so far of this Pro standings. Am standings looks a little bit more populated, with Kankos leading the way with 18-point gap over Wood to Beams to Corona Blitz, Mikado, Eli, Adam, there we go. Adam and Ben Myatt in tied 7th position as well with 37 points apiece. Christian Overstreet 9th, Brensden 10th, and Bedovas down in 11th. With Knockhill now taking part in this second round, it is a 1.3 mile track, elevation change 200 feet, and fun fact for you, is the only circuit in the UK license to run in both clockwise and anti-clockwise directions. That's your fun fact for the Tuesday. In the comments with me, as always, for the AC's nights for these past seasons. It's a pleasure to be having you, Scotty, and thank you once more for being also a provider of the cameras this evening as well, as we see new follow as well popping up. Thank you very much for the support. Pleasure to have you. Noel's 3D, again, I hope I've said that right. But Scotty, good evening.
Good evening, it's great to be here. Knockhill, very tricky circuit. You've got some blind corners, especially this chicane, which we're seeing all the cars go through on their out laps for qualifying. 10-minute session to set the grid for our first race. Let's see, it's Pavot who's going to be on our first flying lap. Let's go on board with him. Let's also get up the inputs as he heads towards first corner. Fast right-hander, blind, apex, carries as much speed as you can. Don't compromise turn 2 too much, then heavy on the brakes for turn 3. McIntyre's right-hander. Good traction on the exit through the silver right-hander. Set yourself up for this blind chicane. Jump over that second apex. Careful not to run into the gravel on the exit of the black circles chicane as we head now up to Clark's corner. One of the more simple corners of the track. Still cresting over the apex. Again, careful not to run too wide as getting onto the gravel will compromise your run all the way to Taylor's hairpin, the final corner of the track. Very crucial corner. Run it in deep. Use the camber, the sort of elevation to tip the car in, and try and get good traction on the exit. Very short lap, we're getting to nearly 50-second lap times across the line here. Pavot's first flying lap will be a 52.327, which is the benchmark. Let's go to our championship leader coming up to the line for their first lap. Just waiting for that time, and it's a 52.308, less than 200ths of a second at the top of the timesheets at the moment as drivers head on to their second laps. With such a short lap, they'll get plenty of flying laps in for this session, but will be very difficult to thread the needle between pushing for that final 100th of a lap time and running a little bit wide. It's seen a car in the background there, getting into the gravel and losing your momentum for that lap.
Absolutely. One make racing at its finest, the gap's minuscule to almost nothing as these guys find the limits of the circuit and hopefully not punish themselves, especially with these very aggressive curbings. Sausage curb going through turn 3, 5 and 6 and 7 of note as well. They'll need to be careful not to unsettle the car and send it flying, and I wouldn't rule out, we don't want to see it, but I wouldn't rule out potentially a car going up on 2 wheels and then potentially overbalancing and then maybe already ending on their roof. We don't want to see it, we hope not to see it, but it is a possibility and a bit of action for tonight's stream. Cars are said going for qualifying no push to pass. They will get 10 activations of push to pass boost in the races that we have here this evening, but for now just raw power and the skill of the right and left foot and the 2 wheels on the steering column. 2 wheels on the steering column, 2 hands on the steering wheel, should I say. I will get that right, it's fine.
Ben Myatt was improving, but I think has made a mistake at the chicane as we see Zach Silver pop themselves into P5 amongst all the other pro drivers. As you can tell, the pro drivers denoted with the P, the white P on the timing tower. You'll also notice a full black window banners on the front and rear windscreens. The AM drivers, as we go to Sean McArdle, who's improving on this lap, or was improving, must have had a bad run through either the chicane or Clark's corner. They have a red edges to the window banner, as well as the red A on the timing tower. So that's how we denote the Pro and AM classes. As Aidan mentioned a little bit earlier, our AMs slightly outnumbering our pros, and Sean McArdle putting himself in amongst the pros at the moment. Good final corner gets themselves up to P6. Let's go to Jacob Hine, who's on an improvement, only a 10th off pole position after the first sector. We're about to get the second sector split any moment now. Half a second off now, but we'll see if they can go a little further up, or a little further back. Johan Karlzak was improving, but has lost a bit of time. So let's go back to Jacob Hine to see where is he going to settle in. Gets themselves up to P5. Chronoblitz has got themselves into P7. And let's see, actually, Alfie Bevan is on for another good lap. Looks to have run a little bit wide and is
validated.
Yeah,
that's he's left the session.
It has nearly 5 minutes to get back in, so hopefully has again. Maybe just a quick misclick trying to get back to the pit lane. Cancos now currently sitting outside the top 10 is improving. Let's see Alfie Bevan reconnect. 7/10 off the top time as they head through the hairpin. Now it's a long run up to the line. Very slow exit, so it takes longer than you expect to accelerate up to the line. That's good enough. Get into the top 10, but only very briefly. Adam gets himself up to P8, and in the pro class, Jacob Hine is slotting into P3, running wide though into T1, and will be invalidating that next lap. Speaking of Adams, Adam Ely up to P6 overall in the lead of the pro class.
Indeed, he is. Looking good for Adam in the AM class, up into 6 overall. We'll go back on board with Anton Cancos, who's going through the final sector and gets it nice and neatly through that chicane. As we said, that elevation is somewhat aggressive, and he's even more aggressive. He goes onto the brakes for the final turn, gets it turned in. You'll notice not many of the drivers are actually taking the apex of that corner. Maybe find a bit of time running wide and using a bit of momentum to get up the hill to the start finish straight, and you'll see the bridge over the start finish line comes into view, and turn 1 is following up ahead, and it's immediately down as they drop a couple of stories of elevation.
What we're seeing is a lot of drivers can get close to Alfie Bevan's pole time through the first sector. They're getting pretty consistent through those first few corners, but it's that middle sector through Black Circle's chicane and Clark's corner that the times really open up. And we've got two people improving in the first sector. Can they improve in the middle sector? That's someone running wide. That is Alex Wood running into the gravel in the background, as Jacob Hine, James Pavot and Johan Karlzak all quicker in the first sector than the pole time. Pavot and Hine identical lap times by the second sector. It's all about the final corner. They are they are line astern. We'll see Jacob Hine cross it first in the number 2 car up to the line. Isn't able to beat Pavot. Pavot doesn't improve as well in the final sector. And Karlzak has aborted that lap and gone back to pit lane. Kroneblitz we come to now only a quarter of a tenth away in the first sector. How much time have they lost in the middle sectors? We're seeing more purple times come up in the first sector. It's still a personal best, only a quarter of a second off after the second sector. That's pretty well. Very deep into the chicane, into the hairpin, very wide of the apex, but has it worked out for them? They run up to the line, currently second within the AMS class. Can they take the front? No, actually, losing quite a bit of time in the final sector. It won't be an improvement. Let's go to Alfie Bevan, who is just completing a lap.
He does. He improves to 51.895. Ekes out that lead ever so slightly as Pavot and Hine are on outlaps, will have time to get around, but it looks like, sorry, I say that again. Looks like Alfie Bevan stamping his authority in this qualifying session.
Zach Silver just running a little bit wide out Taylor's hairpin, compromising their momentum, and this likely won't be an improvement. It is an improvement, but not enough to gain any position. Still behind the AM car of Adam Ely. Let's look a little further up. You're sure personal best after the middle sector gets into the apex there. 10th and a half down on Alfie Bevan's time. How much of an improvement can this be for Ure, as Alfie Bevan has improved once again to 51.6, but you're sure up to P3, just within 300ths of a second to Pavot. Can they find those extra few hundredths in their final flying lap? We're going to go to Johan now, who's just ran wide at Black Circle's chicane and is going to have lost time on this lap. We'll see it through to the middle sector just to confirm the time loss on the sector, and yeah, 8 tenths down. Let's go to Ashhill, who looks to be slowing down. Yeah, was good first sector, personal best first sector, but has lost time in the middle sector. Checkered flag is out now. Those in pit lane are finished. Those completing their final laps, it will be their last laps. No really many people improving. Chris Overstreet on a personal best in the middle actually no, has dropped to over 2 tenths off. Jacob Hine improving, just getting into the 51s at the death of the session. We will go to Sean McGardle. Zach Silver's lost a bit of time in the middle sector. Has Sean kept pace in the middle sector? No, they have not. So we'll go to Zach Silver. He'll be the last driver to complete a competitive flying lap, though it's not looking good at the middle sector time as they come up to the line. It will not be an improvement, and that will be our qualifying session.
Oh boy. The 51-second lap club was very exclusive until Jacob Hine put in that time. Alfie Bevan was the only member of that, but it looks like it'll be a very tight top 3, and I have a feeling that they may get away with it and potentially make it a bit of a top 3 battle. Hopefully we won't see it, and hopefully the rest of the pack will keep up, but our first race will be coming very shortly. A quarter of an hour, and we're going to do it 3 times as well, one of which is also a random reverse grid. Let's not forget that, and we'll do that wheel after this first race.
Yes, so plenty to race for in our 3 races coming up. Can expect quite a few mistakes watching the practice session, a lot of drivers trying to find the limits. Plenty scraping across the gravel, especially at the chicane in the middle sector. I wonder how much of that we'll see throughout the race. Another thing to consider, the push-to-passes, as we mentioned, they're very short bursts in these IDTT Cup cars, but they could make the difference. We've seen them being very effective when used properly at Oulton Park for our first round last week. But a little thing I figured out between last week and this week is not everyone gets the same amount of push to passes. Those in the top 6 will get the baseline 15 uses throughout the race. So they'll nearly get to use 1 a lap. Those from 7th to 12th will get an additional use. They'll get 16 uses. Those 13th to 18th will get a second additional use, so 17 in total, and people 19th to 20th, if we do have a full grade in for the rest of the series, will get a third additional use, or 18. So something to help those a little further back in the grid. But yeah, we are about to get underway. We can see the field lined up 2 by 2, side by side, slightly offset as the lights are about to come on. All compact up. They'll have to be careful over the curbs through the opening chicane. The lights are on. The engine revs have risen. And it's lights out, away we go. Good start there from Alfie on the insides ahead. And the field already looking at a couple of moves a little further back into T1. Well, can everyone keep it clean? Nearly 3 wide in the middle as everyone filters out to single file.
Off in the background. Not sure who that was off in the background in turn 1. It might have been Ben Myatt actually going wide at turn 1. However, everyone looks to reasonably got through the first sector safely, avoiding that tyre wall, which is in this game moulded to absolute solidity. As we'll see all of them go through the final sector now. Only one more turn in this very short lap here at Knockhill, as we see Beaver lead the way. Hine and Pavot fighting away. Jacob Hine on the push to pass, using the activation early. Gets the car up on the inside. The outside line will be doable to remain side by side for Pavot, who's going to eke out ahead again. Who's just got a push pass. That's a very random car taking it to the lawn. And that is Kelzak. And I wonder if that was the cause of that. There was a car going off to the right hand side. I do wonder if Kelzak was also involved there and caused that car or maybe a collision potentially. I'm not sure with who. I think it might have been Hill or McCardle.
Yeah, so Sean McGarrell's dropped to 10th place. Let's just have a little check at who's won, who's lost. Yeah, Johan, biggest loser. Adam Ely losing a couple of spots as Zach Silver is off in the gravel. So is Adam Ely and Lucas Smits all off at the chicane. I imagine someone has clipped the tire wall on the inside going into that chicane and is just caused chaos that the cars behind unable to avoid. Those are the opportunities people can capitalise on, but it's obviously helped Johan to try and come back. Alex Wood trying to make a move on the inside of Kankos, looking to the inside of Sean McGarl. Gotta be careful there through the tight hairpin, but gets the move done. Is on the cooldown to their push pass, but Kankos not using it at this stage to try and make a counter attack.
Yep, absolutely. Staying put for now. As we see a lot of activation, especially for those down further in the field. 30s, 40s, 50s and 60s all on the push to pass. They've just expired. As Beaven extending the gap to 1.3 seconds now from Pavot to Storo. Will stick on board with Wood and Kankos here. And Wood goes wide. That's going to leave the door open for Kankos. Got up the inside. Gets the move done on the brakes. Where is Wood? He's conceded and he's under threat from Overstreet as well. The Christian Overstreet in 10th.
Kankos ran a little bit wide onto the gravel. See Sean McCardle trying to make a move on Hill, as well as Wood trying to take advantage of that mistake on the inside of the hairpin. Have they got the exit? Looks like I have. Interestingly, Kankos not using the push pass to try and come back towards T1. Looks like we'll have to settle with the outside line into T1. We'll settle for P9 for now, but you never know. We've seen quite a few mistakes so far. I'm sure we will see more to come in this race. Jacob Hine and Pavot now fighting over second place. Once again, Pavot with the inside, just fence off. Will we see any pushed pass towards the hairpin? No, it looks like both drivers waiting for the start-finish straight to take advantage of it. Jacob just losing out a little bit on this run to Taylor's hairpin. Can they get a good exit? A little lock up there for Pavot immediately, both of them onto the push to pass, but looks like Pavot opening up a little bit of margin now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Ben Myatt dropping down the order as well, like an anvil in the ocean. Karolczak taking full advantage of that, getting past him through the final 10 on the push to pass as well. So a potential issue there for Ben as it drops down to 13th. As yeah, very much so. Look at that gap is now opening for between him and Karolczak. Karolczak, it's a little interesting train up ahead now for Johan, and in the pro class, quite out of position from his fellow pro drivers, all up within the top 6. Looking to try and make a move as Alex Wood around the outside of Overstreet, and Overstreet actually going very wide, or sorry, not very wide, but very tight on that curbing on the inside corner. It's actually cost him momentum. It's going to cost him 3 positions.
Yeah, Wade was first to make a mistake over straight, trying to take advantage, but just jumping over that inside curb, then losing out as we go to this battle for P6. Sean McGardle and Ash Hill fighting. They're side by side towards T1. Ash Hill on the inside, much there on the brakes. 2 there, runs wide, and we'll give that place back up as Sean McGardle getting that braking zone much more accurately. A little further back, we have Zach Silver catching up to Ben Myatt, trying to make a comeback after that incident at this very chicane on the second lap. Can see, and maybe just tagging the back of Ben Myatt there, who spins off into the wall. And we also have Adam going very slowly, dropping now to 14th place as Ben Myatt tries to rescue themselves from the gravel track. Go back to Johan, who's sizing up a move to the inside of Alex. Move gets the nose in very late. Alex Wood leaves the space, but will likely get the better exit though on cooldown with the push to pass. Johan on the button will get the acceleration from it, and it should be move done then for P9 with the inside for T1.
We'll stick with it just to be sure, but it does very much look like that that livery. You're waiting for Donkey to show up as it's moved done. There's Karolczak, and that cements his P9 for now. Wood, with the push to pass advantage in 10th, with 2 more activations, will look to try and get the move done once more. However, go down to Ash Hill, or say up to Ash Hill, should I say, as he's also now hunting down McArdle for P6 overall, looking to try and make a move to turn the final turn. Not going to be able to do it. Is on a cooldown, so can't use a boost. We're going to try and see if he can make a move. However, Wood and Karolczak on P9 and P10, this is very much just for overall position. The 2 drivers are in separate classes. However, Karolczak getting out of the corner and using a push to pass to eke out yet again another advantage over Alex Wood here. Oh, Alex has a massive snap load, but to jump on board of him, Karolczak locks up through turn 3. 4, 5 and 6 follow in quick succession. It's another slide forward, but keeps it on mostly on the black stuff, not running wide onto the gravel trap or the sand, whereas Alex does. That's going to kill his momentum, and that is Zach Silver behind him on the outside now. The white car actually getting a move done prior to even going into the braking zone in the last corner. It's going to be a cheeky move from Adam in the background, immediately trying to go the over-under. And Zach Silver now looking Alex Wood now looking somewhat vulnerable to an attack from Adam. But however, Alex gets on the push to pass, defends the position, and survives to fight another day at the very least.
Able to use the push to pass to save themselves there from Adam Ely. 2 Adams now lining up behind Alex Wood. Of course, a mistake through this chicane, which we've seen quite a few times. Big jump over the curb. It does get into the gravel. That could be both places lost. There goes Adam Ely. Thankfully for Alex, the second Adam just a little too far back, but is maybe going to try and get a better run here through our handers on the push to pass as they head towards Taylor's hairpin in the slipstream as well. Looks to the inside, is there on the inside. Can Alex Wood get a cutback, potentially use the push to pass, get past? Doesn't quite look it. He's on the button. Are they close enough to get there for T1? They're closing and closing. Let's go on board as they'll look to the inside as they get into T1. Have they got move done? Just about. They slot in front and give Adam no way to retaliate into McIntyre's.
No, this is for P4 and P5 in the AMS class. So the amateur drivers fighting out here. Oh, it's a massive shunt. And it is between Wood and Adam.
I think that's Zach Silver and Adam Ely trying to go side by side into that chicane. You've got the tire barrier on the inside, which just makes it incredibly difficult. And unfortunately for Adam Ely, who's been looking quick over practice in qualifying, it has cost them a lot more time. They fall back to 14th place.
He's not going to be pleased with that. He will no doubt continue as we see the other Adam, which is the surname that we still can't figure out how to pronounce. We'll be hunting down Alex with a very much simpler surname for 11th. But again, that P4 and P5 spot overall in the AMS Championship. Turn 3 will follow both cars. Well, actually, Alex going very wide there through turn 3, loses momentum. However, will just about gather up in time to keep the position. Now Zach Silver ahead in P10 overall is also, I spoke too soon. And I have a feeling this is going to be a move up the inside for Adam into 11th. And Alex Wood will have to just lick his wounds once more and try and fight back for the position.
Alex Wood looks to get a good exit here out of Taylor's hairpin and has the push to pass now towards T1. Will pull to the inside. Looks like it's going to be a rinse and repeat into turn 1. As long as they can get the braking zone right, they should be back up into P11, which they are now. Just need to make sure they don't make a mistake. A little further up, Sean McGardles got in front of Krona Blitz for P5 and the lead of the AMS class. And Johan Gerlzak is up to P8 overall now. But we'll just see both drivers on the button here for 5th and 6th as they head towards Taylor's hairpin. Fighting hard. But Sean McGardle's now going to try and break away a little bit and try and take the victory. Someone who has been using a lot of push passes as of late is James Lepavot. Has taken fastest lap of the race and has brought the gap down to under a second for the lead. Gained over nearly 4/10 last lap on Alfie Bevan. So certainly seems to be a little bit stronger, but Alfie having not used any pushed passes yet. I wonder if he's just saving them just in case and not using them when it's not necessary.
Cheeky, that's a power play by Alfie there. If anything, not use any of his boosts to open the gap, done it on natural pace, but also potentially Pavot also fighting away with Scroll and Hine in the previous moments of this race. Gave Alfie the breathing room, and not necessarily had to use her. That's an interesting line. And I think that might have been a snap on the rear, and all that hard effort to try and close the gap has slowly and gradually unwound itself.
Looks like Pavot will just have to wait for the second race to have a chance at taking the lead. Let's go a little further back. Ash Hill closing in on Chrono Blitz, who runs very wide into the gravel at McIntyre's corner and gives up that 6th place overall pretty much for free.
Well, if that wasn't commentator's curse, I don't know what was. Look at this car. It's trying to fight a position. Oh, it makes the overtake. At number 14 comeback, says Joshua Delano. Joshua Delano, should I say. Not Lando, Lano. Number 14 comeback. We shall hopefully see that. That's Lucas Smith of P14. I hope you mean P14. A little shout out there for Luca there. Thank you for your first time chat as well, Joshua. Pleasure to have you. Be sure to hit that follow button as well. Always helps with the algorithms.
Field having spread out a little bit through a couple of incidents and various mistakes up and down the field, but Alfie Bevan with the short lap now coming into traffic of Ben Myatt going round the outside at Taylor's hairpin as two drivers behind continue to use their pushed passes. We have just under 2 minutes plus 1 lap to go in this race. You can see how close the lap times. 11 thousandths quicker was Pavot at last lap around in second. Still using those pushed passes.
It is, but he's burning through them. He's only got 2 left after this current activation cooldown. Alpha's just sitting happy. He's comfortable. He's happy to keep it. I just can't believe he's not used any of his pushed passes, to be perfectly honest. 15 left. 15 started the race with, and he has not had the need. He's not been under threat. Everyone around him, his nearest competitors, are squabbling for second, third, and fourth, and he just rubbed his hands with glee and has run away with this first of 3 quarter-mile races.
Go on board with Zach Silver, who's pushing to try and catch up to Kankos as we have a car off. I think that is the lap car of Ben Myatt.
Ben Myatt, yeah, he's struggling.
Yeah, dropped down to the back of the field now. But Zach Silver closing up, or was closing up on Kankos last lap, gained 0.8 of a second with the personal best lap time, but looks to have lost a little bit of time this lap, just over a second, separating them to Kankos not too far from Johan in front, who's only used by half of their pushed passes as well. But a lot of drivers getting down to their final uses. Now you can see just over a 10th difference between these 2 drivers as they get on to what is going to be the not quite the penultimate lap just yet. There's going to be 2 more laps, but that's going to run any chances Zach Silver had of catching, running wide into the gravel, and that gap that was coming down to nearly under a second is now back up to 2 seconds.
And noise to ED. Lucas Smith, I bet on you for winning. I bet my house and savings on you. What are you doing? Lock in. He's got a chance next race, don't worry. And even more of a chance if he does have another torrid race next time for our second of 3 races this evening. He'll have a chance to get it all back with a potential random placement of a reverse grid, which that wheel will be spun after this race to determine who will start on pole on a reverse grid on race 2 going into race 3. All quarter-mile races, typical for one make championships such as this, like a club meet, and we are emulating that here this evening, especially with that unknown and the uncertainty and excitement of that reverse grid.
Knockhill pushing now on the penultimate lap, having used the last of their pushed passes. Now Sean McGirdle using their penultimate, closing in just over half a second back, but there's only 1 lap remaining as they cross line. A little bit of traffic of Lucas Smits just in front. Last thing Sean McGirdle will want is to be held up through turn 1. A little bit of hesitation on the turn in. You can see the slightly different lines as Lucas Smits is going to get awkwardly in the way of Sean McGirdle, and that allows Ashhill to close up as they come up towards the chicane. Who can get a good run here? Who can avoid the gravel? Ashhill pushing a bit more, gets into the gravel. In the meantime, Alfie Bevan will come through to take the win. Pavot will take second place, but we'll come to this battle for P5. They might be in different classes, but there's still an overall championship, which I'm sure especially the pro drivers will want to make sure they do as well as they can in. Through the final corner now, a much tighter line from Ashhill, though it only compromises them on the exit. Sean McGirdle will hold on to the final top 5 position. Ashhill will settle for P6.
Very good indeed. What a fight there we had for that midfield. That was rather interesting to watch, especially those who were fighting for positions continuously there in the mid-pack. It is Alfie Bevan that takes that win. He said from Pavot to Scorer to Hind to McCardle, Hill, Blitz, Karolzak, Kankos, Silver, Wood, Overstreet now sees the checkered flag. Adam Ely, Smits and Myatt have all seen the checkered flag a lap down. However, I do believe and the other Adam of in 16th, that Adam will come to line. He weaves across the line as in celebration. Bit of a torrid race for him, but hopefully we'll see him back fighting once more in the next 2 races we still have for you this evening.
Yeah, plenty of racing to come. Drivers hoping not to make too many more mistakes like we saw in that first race. hoping to tidy up the racing, but maybe take advantage of other drivers' mistakes if we continue to see some. But yes, first of 3 races this evening. As a reminder, Alfie Bevan taking the win, have James Pavot and Yuri Shore rounding off the top 3. Jacob Hine having started second, dropping to P4, with Sean McGardle taking a top 5 and the win in the amateur class. Ashhill will be in P6, Corona Blitz in 7th overall or 2nd within the AMS class. Johan are the instant dropping them down to the back of the field. They recovered to P8. Kankos will take P9. Zach Silver just getting back into the top 10 after their own early instant on lap 2 and the last of our pro runners. Alex Sweet just missing out on that top 10 will get into 11th with Chris Overstreet in 12th. Adam Ede looking quick, but unfortunate couple of instants dropped them to 13th place. Lucas Smith in 14th, Ben Might in 15th, and Adam, with a lengthy pit stop towards the end of the race, dropped to 16th and last of our grid.
And now we breathe. You take a minute to see what happens. Oh, press the pit limiter instead of push the pass in the first lap. Fantibro, that is gutting. That's Johan Carroll's accident, Fantibro, I do believe. Yes. That is not how you do that. That's for sure, and that is going to be a mistake you're not going to make again, I am sure. One would hope. Right. Is it time, Scotty?
I think it might be. As we go and see if Ben is just make sure to get the results from the first race. To avoid having to put them in manually on SimGrid. Of course, that is very important. And then we will be running the wheel for our reverse grid. So just to keep you up to date, we are just going to have a little server switch now. Then we'll have a 5-minute warm-up session for our drivers to do a little bit of practice, get themselves up to speed, try and iron out a few kinks in their driving, or maybe just get all the mistakes out of the way now rather than leaving them for our races to come. We'll then have a 5-minute qualifying session, a much shorter, but still should be lengthy enough with the short lap time for them to set the grid for the race 2, another 15 minutes, plus 1 lap race. Then we will reverse a portion of the grid, and we're about to find out how much of the grid we will be reversing from the second race. And to help us with that is Ben. Welcome along, Ben.
Hello. Yes, I've snuck in again. Right. Let's see. Right, I believe you've set it up to work on stream, Scotty.
Yes, we can see the wheel in front of us. Places 10 to 16. We'll either see top 10, full grid reverse, or somewhere in between. So, are we ready for the spin?
Let's go for it.
Here we go, the wheel spinning around. It looks like it's going to be a low number. It just ticks over to number 12.
Well, that's an interesting one. It's definitely doable for everyone in the race there, so it could end up with an interesting combination on pole there.
Could be indeed. Well, you're with us, Ben. How did that first race go? It looked quite chaotic, a bit difficult for you.
Yes, I did what everyone eventually does at Knockhill and ran a cropper of the chicane and got it wrong a few times, and that's left me off in the gravel and waiting for people to pass.
Just a few. I'm sure you're not. I'm sure you won't be the first.
It's such a short lap as well that you're basically going to have to let most of the field pass if you end up off the track. So it definitely was interesting, but the downside of being last is the only way is up. So we can only go from here, really.
You can't get any lower. So
exactly. Right.
I'm sorry.
Fair enough. It's valid. Right. Let's get the server launched, and we can all go back racing again. And I will catch you guys later.
Thank you very much, Ben. Enjoy the last couple of your races this evening. We will be sure to keep an eye out for you.
Catch you later, guys.
No, I said keep an eye out. I didn't actually say what for. So let's hope it
Yes.
isn't. We're not going to keep an eye out for him having another crash, but we'll keep an eye out for him. I'm sure making his way back up through the field, having a very successful last 2 races of the evening.
Hopefully. Our servers back up. As said, our drivers will have 5 minutes of warm-up, and a little bit of time to, of course, to get into the server. Maybe have a little rest, have a little drink, make sure they're staying hydrated before we get into our 5-minute qualifying, which will set the grid for our second race. Then the top 12 from the second race will be reversed for our third and final 15-minute plus 1 lap race. Will Alfie Bevan make it 3 for 3 this weekend, or this Tuesday evening? Or will someone be able to be a thorn in their side and take a race victory for themselves?
Is it a weekend? Is it a weekend already? Oh, don't do that to me, Scotty. No, still got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to go. Oh, shocker. How dare you give me false promises like that? Anyway, next server is launching a very brief practice session for these guys just to get back to grips and to ensure everyone is back in the server, and then we'll go straight for our shortened qualifying of 5 minutes, didn't we say, Scotty? Yes, 5 minutes quali.
Yes, 5 minutes indeed. Here are the drivers just doing some warm-up laps. Still have another 3 minutes before the warm-up session will end, and we'll be looking towards the qualifying session. But yeah, very, very interesting first race, but really highlighting the importance of not making mistakes of getting caught in the gravel. I think nearly everyone we've seen putting wheels into the gravel, whether it be out of the chicane or out of Clark's corner just after, would pretty much be guaranteed to lose a position down the next straight.
Yes, that's what you would think, wouldn't you? However, this is club racing at its finest. Anything can happen, and we've seen that last race where drivers go wide, take too much curb, hit the tyre wall. It's all to play for. It's so horrible when it happens, because the short lap of the track, the short nature of it being a sub-minute, 1 minute lap, everyone's going to be reasonably kind of penned up, let's say, and any mistake can be very, very costly.
Yeah, it can be indeed, especially on the qualifying laps. The lap's so short. There's sort of, if you lose time on one corner, there's not many other corners to make it back on compared to your other competitors. Of course, a lot of drivers will be making mistakes on their qualifying laps, and the qualifying session only half as long this time compared to the first one. Those getting a clean lap in where you don't make any mistakes will be even more important. Some of the drivers maybe a little lower end of the pace, if they can get that clean lap in early and others are unable to, they could find themselves starting a little higher up than they are used to. But yes, it won't be too long now before we get into the quali session.
Absolutely. Just waiting for that to happen, and we can take it from there, as this qualifying session is shorter in nature, but such a short lap, it's going to give them plenty of opportunity to find a lap. The idea of the short qualifying really is to try and randomise the grid a little bit and less opportunity, but you get so much opportunity with it being a short lap, it doesn't necessarily matter here. It's neglected slightly, or the intended effects of having a smaller qualifying session is very much neglected by the shortness of the circuit.
Yeah, but when we get to some of the other circuits on the calendar, they're a bit longer. They'll certainly sort of feel that little bit more pressure of having fewer laps. Though I suppose maybe with how easy it is to make a mistake around here, they'll still be feeling that pressure to get a clean lap. Less than 30 seconds now of the warm-up to go. But yeah, we're looking to see, can Jacob Hine have a good clean second race, get themselves on the podium? Can Sean McGardle get themselves a clean, another clean couple of races, take home another couple of victories within the AMS class? Will certainly benefit them within the class standings. Let's just have a little reminder of how the class standings look. Our race winner in the AMS class, Sean McGardle, only down in P5, so they'll certainly be taking a jump towards the front. they'll be hoping to continue to do so. Adam E, they could have done with a good result, sitting just behind in P6 as well. He'll be hoping to turn things around. And Jacob Hine, well, I imagine a little bit disappointed, didn't have the greatest of Oldham Parks. He's already 44 points off the lead. We've been hoping to have converted on that second place in qualifying to close up on those in front, try and get themselves closer to a top 3 position. Of course, should mention we are, of course, missing a couple of drivers who can make it this weekend. One of them being Stevie Bain. Unfortunately, at the pro standings after a very difficult Oldham Park. But of course, Scotsman himself was very much looking forward to and was made the suggestion of the track we're here at Knockhill in Scotland tonight. But very unfortunately has ended up having to miss tonight for him.
Yes, unfortunately so. Hopefully they'll be back next week, all being well. But yes, still plenty of action for tonight with all 16 drivers by the looks of it back in the server. We will take it from there and see what happens.
Yep, we'll see what happens indeed. Just under a minute until our second qualifying session begins, where we'll see the drivers if they can get a good quick lap in. Will we see more sub 52 lap times? Will it be Alfie on his own, or will someone else like Jacob Hine in the first session be able to sneak under that barrier as well? Clean laps will be important, but time will not be plenty to get them in. It won't be too long before we see all the drivers stream out and head through the first few corners. And they'll, of course, short lap, we'll have to make sure not to trip up over one another, trying to get as many laps in as possible. It's maybe a bit of a question for some of the drivers. Do you wait a little bit, give up a guaranteed lap time because of being laid out of the pits, but give yourself a higher likelihood of getting a clean track and not getting held up by other cars, especially if they mistakes? Here they come now for our second qualifying session.
And as predicted, oh, there's already contact. Yep, as we predicted, a bit of a scramble, cars getting in the way of each other already as they all stumble out the pits down through 1, 2 and 3, ready to start their qualifying session.
Yeah, that was Johan Karlzak and Zach Silver coming together in the pro class, and it has pushed them back a little bit in the sort of order, the line, the queue for the flying laps. All the pro cars are situated towards pit exit in front of all the AM drivers, trying to help them get a bit of clean air. But unfortunately, that has kind of undone that position for them. Jacob Hine is going to be first one on flying lap. How about we go on board with Alfie Bevan, our pole sitter and race 1 winner.
Indeed we shall. Down to turn 1 it goes, it's completely blind. Hits the apex suitably, turn 2 and 3 quickly follow. It slams on the brakes, using all that downhill momentum, scrubbing it all off to try to get the car slowed down for turn 4, 5, now 6, as they all come in quick succession. Don't run it too wide on the curb. You don't want to get into the gravel pit. Turn 7, now uphill, blind apex corner comes up to you out of nowhere, and the exit appears out of hiding. It's a blind exit as well. You go down to the final turn now as you go onto the brakes, and such is the short nature of the circuit. That is a lap of Knockhill. Elevation, aplenty. The length, however, may be shorter than most, but nonetheless doesn't fail to entertain.
Does catch up to a little bit of traffic in front of them. It's 52.1 is their opening attempt here. Let's look a little further back. Sean McArdle getting themselves up to P7. Johan Karlzak up to P3, slotting in behind Pavot. Jacob Hine only P4 at the moment. Zach Silver only P9 on their first attempt, 1.5 seconds off the opening time. You're sure a little bit slower as well. So some drivers much further back where they'd want to be on these opening laps, but we'll have to keep an eye on their second laps. Let's see who's running well. Not a lot of drivers improving. That's driver across the gravel. That's Alex Wood in the background, but looks like Sean McArdle is one of the few drivers who are improving after the second sector. Only 3 attempts down on the pole lap. Car in front leaving the door wide open, but compromising the exit. That's a little bit awkward as they now run up to the line. Sean McArdle, will he improve? No, just 0.03 of a second slower after the final sector for them. They'll not be able to improve. Zach Silver improving just 13 thousandths in front to take P9, but we'll be hoping to get even further in front. Kankos now up to P11. But let's go up a little bit to Johan Karlzak, who has a little bit of traffic. He gets out of the way for them, leaves them a clean run through Clark's corner. Not too much curb there, but maybe could have carried a little bit of momentum, used a little bit more of the exit curb. We'll see what their time delta is as they come across the second split. It is down as Pavot does improve, but it's not enough to beat Alpha. Yuri Shore improving to 52.5, gets up to P3. Ashil into P5, and Jacob Hine from second in the first qualifying session is all the way down in P6 for now.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try and get a bit more of a better time on the board. It's very short on the clock as well. He has got much more time to go, as we see that he is improving, however, points also just about 0.2 of a second down. Actually finds more time, just purple middle sector as well. So gains back a bit of that time from the first sector. Fastest of all in the middle sector, only by about 0.019 of a second. Comes to the start finish straight. Is it going to be an improvement in position? However, this is for now up to third. He's got time. Oh, he's crossed the line before the checker flag, but Alfie Beaven, however, gets into the 151s where he was previously, but still time to find for him.
Yeah, look how close it is between Jacob Hine and Ashel. 0.04 of a second. And now Johan Karlzak is just slotted in front. Zach Silver is going to try and get up towards the pro. Sean McArdle goes top of the AMPS class. Zach Silver not improving in the end. Now dropped down to P10, and they're on their final flying lap. Uri Shore now coming up to the hairpin. Was up as lost time in the middle sector. So has Alfie Bevan. So has Ashil. A lot of drivers struggling with that middle sector. Not improving on the second laps. Let's go to Zach Silver. Personal best first sector. Have they had a clean middle sector? That is the key question of qualifying. They're coming up to the split now. It's still a personal best, but nearly 6.5 tenths down with just one corner to go. Into Taylor's hairpin now. Very wide of the apex, taking that wide line, trying to carry momentum onto the start finish straight. Up to the line now. Currently last of the pro cars, bumped out of the top 10 by Adam, and it's not an improvement for Zach Silver. They'll be starting down in P11.
Ooh. Couple of drivers out of position there for that shorter qualifying session, but Alfie once again holding his own for that pole position start. We will just await for the server to tick over. It will then take us to the grid for the start of race 2, and we will get underway. So we'll see what happens.
So the grid order then for race 2. Alfie Bevan back-to-back pole positions, but joining them on the front row this time will be James Lepavot, nearly 4 tenths back from our pole sitter. Johan Karlzak rounds the top 3 with Jacob Hine just missing out by 16 thousandths to Johan. Uri Shore is only a further 23 thousandths of a second back in P5, and Ashil 17 thousandths back from Uri in P6. Sean McArdle takes pole position within the AMPS class, narrowly beating out Adam Eli by 0.07 of a second. The other Adam will take P9, and Chronoblitz will round out the top 10. Zach Silver, the last of our pro cars, out of position in P11. That's 4 AM cars between them and the other pro cars. Alex Wood is in P12 with Anton Kankos in 13th, Ben Might in 14th, Lucas Smits in 15th, and rounding our grid is Christian Overstreet in 16th place. Worth remembering the top 12 of this the second race will be reversed to set the grid for our third and final race. That we currently put Alex Wood on current provisional reverse grid pole position, but of course before we set that grid, we have 15 minutes plus 1 lap of racing. I'll be getting underway in about 30 seconds from now.
Indeed, it will be. Cars have taken to the grid. And we just await for the lights to come on the screen. We'll then get that second race underway. Now, remember, keep an eye on 12th position. That is the full reverse. That's the regress. That's the position for the reverse grid for the top 12. You finish 12th. You start on pole for the next and final race of the evening. 5 lights will shortly come on screen as we see them illuminate our screens. They'll shortly disappear, and we are away for the second race this time. Front row gets very well. Third place actually gets a very good launch as well. They'll also try and make a move as well down into turn 1. However, it's Bevan and Pavot side by side. Bevan a little bit squeezed out. Actually, Pavot gets a move down to car from the background. That is, I believe, Jacob Hine going off in turn 1 will look to recover the positions, and very much out of position now in the pro class. It is Pavot that leads the way for the first time this evening, might I add, from Alfie Bevan as they go up into the tail end of this very short lap.
Yeah, Pavot getting the jump off the line, hung it around the outside of turn 1, and then took the inside for turn 2. Ashell up into P4 in the background as Jacob Hine. Dreadful start as Alfie Bevan trying to send it round the outside of the final corner. Will try and get the better exit. Both of them on the push to pass now as they head towards turn 1. Alfie Bevan with the slipstream is closing into turn 1. Pavot's push to pass runs out a little bit sooner, but not soon enough for Alfie to get alongside into the first braking zone. Now through the opening sector. Not enough of a braking zone there into McIntyre's for Alfie to take advantage of, and they'll have to follow through the chicane. Who's going to be a bit more careful? Alfie taking more of the curb there, more momentum. Are they going to have a look to the inside? But no, but they're going to force Pavot to defend the inside. Will this give Bevan the run out of Clark's corner? It will indeed, and he'll draw alongside. He'll have the inside for Taylor's Tarpin. Neither driver on the push to pass, both of them saving it for the start finish straight. Heavy onto the brakes, look at the front nose of the car's dive. Pavot no choice but to try and carry the momentum on the outside as both of them on the button now. It's a drag race to T1. Alfie Bevan still on the inside, Pavot on the outside, where he took the lead of the race off the start. Alfie Bevan has to slot back into line, has not taken the lead just yet.
Oh boy. Oh, Alfie's going to be roasting them behind that wheel. He wants that first place back. But Pavot is doing everything in his power to make it a living nightmare for him. Meanwhile, Karolczak in third, also catching up. Going to be making this a three-way battle for the lead in a very few short moments' time, potentially. However, Alfie right in the slipstream of James Lee Pavot here for the lead. Darts out. Pavot doesn't necessarily defend it. Goes a little bit later on the brakes. Does gather it up, however, for the braking zone. And that was Karolczak closing as well. Hill's not too far behind as well. And it's almost a five-way battle. Top 5 are now within about 1.5 seconds of each other. As the push passes, we see them illuminating the timing tower, now being activated once more to try and make a move.
Crucially though, Pavot has saved one there, didn't use it on that straight. It has allowed Alfie Bevan to close in a bit and is hounding that rear bumper through the opening and middle sector now. Little mistake from Pavot through the chicane, and is that the opportunity that Alfie Bevan needs on the inside into Clark corner? But is Pavot going to get the cutback, get the better exit with the slipstream now towards Taylor's Tarpin? Can see Alfie already defending the inside. We're seeing some pushed passes a little further back from Uri at the back of this train, but into the hairpin. Alfie taking a tight line. Is that going to compromise their exit? They're onto the push to pass to defend, but interestingly, Pavot not using theirs yet. They're trying to save some push to passes at the moment for later on in the race when everyone else has ran out. Ashell closing on the back to Johan Karolczak and trying to take a podium position here.
Absolutely. I think Pavot has realised what happened from last race. He had to burn through his push to passes. Maybe having a couple in hand, if you can keep up with Alfie Bevan, just stick in the slipstream, just so he can get pulled along a little bit here. Having that push to pass maybe to benefit from later in the race may come of use. P11, Adam off the circuit at turn 3, loses a position to Ben Myatt, who is now up into 10th, which is P4 overall for the AMS class. Scorer chasing down Ashell. Things are late. Last dive. I've pushed a pass. Ashell gives the space. They're going side by side on exit. If they go down to the main straight, it's a drag race with Joey Scorer. Looks to be losing out on a little bit here. Ashell using a push to pass to get the move done. However, push to pass to Jay-Z Pavot on Alfie Beaver into turn one. Not close enough to make a move. Will stay put for now, but is being able to stay put with Alfie for the second race with a push to pass advantage. We've got 2 more activations. That will be critical towards the end of this race.
Adam Ely getting past Jacob Hine, I think there, as Jacob just within the reverse grid. That could be very advantageous for them if they can stay there for the third and final race. But you can see those couple of cars carrying quite a bit of damage as they're sort of falling behind the top of the train. You can see the field has spread out quite a bit if this race. Those have kept it clean, the top 5 especially. And the rest, Zach Silver currently behind Corona Blitz, trying to put the pressure on as they put themselves ahead of the leading car within the AMS class, Corona Blitz. Sean McArdle not too far behind. Zach using the push to pass, looking to the outside of T1. He'll give them the inside of T2. Not a lot of space giving there, and they have a bit of a door bang across the apex. So is Corona Blitz. That pushes Zach Silver into the gravel, and Sean McArdle is going to try and take advantage of all of this and take the lead within the AMS class.
Well, that is going to be interesting, and also Silver making a move past Blitz as well. So bad to worse for Blitz there to lose another position.
Down to Piet, using the push to pass to try and come back at Zach Silver towards the hairpin, though I think they're a little too far back to make a sound here. Will Zach Silver use one on the exit of the main straight? They do indeed, and to try and open up a little bit of a gap. Catch back up to Sean McArdle to try and take P6. Have another attempt of getting past the leading AM driver. A little further back, Adam Ely using push to pass on start finish straight to close up on Ben Might, to use theirs on the run up to the hairpin. Personal bests from Ely and Hine as they close in. A lot of curb from Ben Might, too much as they had to come across the turn to apex. That gives up P10 overall to Adam Ely, 4th in the AMS class.
Yep, that's going to hurt him big time. So we'll drop down to P11. However, not the end of the world, as he actually gets overtaken by Jacob Pine as well. P12 now, Ben Meyer is going to want to hold that position for the reverse grid. He's got 7.5 minutes to do so. However, Cancos isn't too far behind in 13th, 1.3 seconds as it stands.
So still relatively close. St. Jacob Hound has been struggling a little bit. This race does have damage that they're holding on to as well, holding them back. But as we go a little further in front, Ashell putting a lot of pressure on Johan Krolzak for the final podium position, though does have 2 less pushed passes than Johan. Out of Clark Corner in the slipstream towards the hairpin. If they used to push to pass here, you could guarantee that they'd be alongside for the hairpin, but both of them saving it for the start finish straight. That seems to be where most drivers are using it, where it seems most effective, and you can see that all of the top 5 using it on the start finish straight. The front 2 starting to pull away. Alfie Bevan into the 51.8, fastest lap of the race. Pavot another personal best, and they're just opening that gap. Krolzak now 3 seconds back from the front 2 as they're settling in wide though for Johan through McIntyre's, as they're now heading up to the chicane. Slightly different line, the rear end sliding around on these front wheel drive cars. Now into Clark Corner, very important corner to get a good run towards Taylor's hairpin. Looks like Johan has just been a little bit quicker there. But slipstream Ashhill starting to close up just a little bit, but will not be close enough. A little further back, that's Sean McArdle going a bit wide through Clark Corner and using the push to pass now to try and open a gap, fend off P6 from Zach Silver. But I think Zach Silver is going to wait, save their push to pass for the start finish straight, as we were just mentioning, and try and take the position into T1.
Yep, absolutely. Push to pass advantage now, and that's going to be hopefully an easy move as McArdle's on cooldown. Can't use a push to pass to defend. However, Silver thinking about making a lunge. That's not going to work there. as Ricardo holds position. I think maybe if he was looking at his wing mirrors, that he maybe have created skid marks, but not off the tyres for a very brief moment there, as he keeps on going for P6. Gap between 6th and 5th, rather massive gap between them of 11 seconds. So it's a top 5 fight. It's a pretty much best of the rest, as the leaders back at it again. Pavot using a push to pass, but it's too far back to do anything about it right now. We'll stick with Kawasaki and Hill as they go down the main straight. Kawasaki using a push to pass to defend from Ash, but nothing much more happening there. Scorer closes the gap, however, after using his push to pass, gets in within 0.3 of a second and getting mighty more closer. Now Ash Hill took a clout to the curb going through turn 3.
Through the chicane, trying to get the nose alongside is Troy, though it's a very awkward position to get alongside through that chicane. Clark corner now, I've said it's very important, a bit more curb there from Shorai in the green car, and that compromises the exit, not able to put the power down with the wheels hanging in the air. And it's going to be a little too far back for a move into the hairpin, possibly a little too far back for a move in T1. Ash just taking a wider entry, cutting back to get a better exit, and does allow them to close up on Johan. Just over half a second, covers 3rd to 5th. The pressure being on. Very little pace difference between the 3 of these, but any mistake from them could see them losing positions.
Yep, absolutely indeed. Nip and tuck between them. It is now a battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. A little battle is formed of its own, with Pavo being able to create a gap of about 5 seconds. It's going to use his push to pass advantage. Pavo uses up one of his spare push to passes, trying to close the gap to Alfie, be able to mount another attack. However, we'll jump on board with Ash Hill as we go down to the final turn. He's going to stay put, hopefully. No, thinks about making a move, but stays in a slipstream with Kawasaki. Will he get on the push to pass? He will, but not before Kawasaki. So it's going to be a bit nullified here between the two drivers. They're both going to be on the boost. However, the only gap they're going to create is potentially a jury scorer in 5th behind them.
Ben might making a mistake at the chicane, and it has dropped them out of reverse grid pole position and elevates Kankos into that crucial position onto the front row for a 3rd and final race. But still 3 minutes and 1 lap remaining. Plenty of time for mistakes to be made, though, with this race much wider gaps between the drivers. Maybe they're a little more settled, not taking as many risks, as we've not seen as many mistakes this race as we've seen in the first. But we'll continue on watching this battle. Yuri Shore has dropped back in the background, 1.5 second gap opening up, but Ash Hill still piling the pressure on for P3, though is about to run out of push to passes. They will only have one more use after this current one runs out as they head towards T1. They're closing with the slipstream, though turn 1 not a big braking zone. Too ambitious of a dive further back. Adam Ide getting ahead of Alex Wood for P9 and the final podium position within the AMS class.
Yep, absolutely. So that's going to be good for Adam and his charge back up to the championship as Hill gets a move done by Kawasaki after a mistake. Going wide was Johan there, and he's now under threat from Jerry Scorer as well for P5. Scorer activates push to pass, try and get move done into the final 10 in the slipstream, and with the extra boost, goes to the inside edge, just about a car's worth left for him. Gets on the brakes, and that is bad to worse, really, for Kawasaki. Goes down to 5th position. However, will potentially get the move back into turn 1. He goes onto a push to pass to try and regain the position. Scorer already goes defensive to go across the start finish line, which will be potentially for 3 more laps to go.
As they're side by side into T1, making contact. Both of them off into the grass as Zach Silver was trying to also make a move on Sean McGardle for P6. They carry on. So they do. Johan in P4, Yuri Shore further back in P5. But before Sean McGardle is able to close up. But drama as we get towards the final stages of our second race. As that is Adam, who's currently in 16th place, has had a difficult race once again.
It has, unfortunately. Very much so. As most notably, we said about Ben, he's back up into 12th.
Yeah, Alex Wood had an issue, returned to the pits and dropped them to 15th place, as we see Zach Silver here putting the nose on the inside of Sean McGardle. Both of them using a push to pass, though more crucially, it's the final push to pass for Sean McGardle as they head towards T1. Sean's push to pass has ran out, and that will allow Zach Silver to carry the acceleration, get the move done on the inside. Can Sean make an ambitious move to the inside of McIntyre's? No, they think better of it, and they'll settle for P7, which is still the lead within the AMS class, as this will be the third to last lap.
Yes, it will be. The leaders coming across the line now. As this will now be the penultimate lap as the leader has just started. So we'll get... oh no, yeah, stand corrected. Ignore me. Yeah, third to last. I know what we're doing here now. It's fine. Totally fine. As Silver still trying to get back past... McArdle's still trying to get back past Silver, but yes, that push to pass now expiring for McArdle doesn't have anything to really boost back past, as most notably, with a couple more laps to go, Alfie B was out of push to pass. Instead, the advantage of push to pass would be very much noted at the end of this race. Jameson Pavot's just did one activation. He's got one more activation to go. And will he be able to use that to close the gap? Last lap now for our second race. And it is Alfie that leads it. Pavot will try and look to close, but maybe two push to passes was not the advantage that he needed. And Alfie's been able to, even though Pavot's used push to pass, has extended the gap to the P2 driver. Couple more corners to go, and it's going to be Alfie's second win of the evening. Top 12 reverse grid as mentioned, so if things stay the way they are, Ben Myatt will be on pole for race 3, and then flip it on its head from 12th to 1st. Alfie Beaven will start 12th, from Pavot to Hill to Karazak to Scorer. I'll say that Karazak's had an issue, and he's off the circuit down at the first chicane.
At the Black Circles chicane, trying to get back onto the track, but it's going to drop more positions. There goes Chrono Blitz for P7, and that's going to be P8. Crucial points lost for Karazak, as Alfie Bevan has crossed the finish line to take their second win of the evening, further extending their lead in the championship. Might be a bit of domination if they're able to continue that form, but of course the reverse grid will not make it easy for them. Zach Silver about to come across the line, as can see Johan trying to fight back. It's a drag with Chrono Blitz, but they will just miss out, trying to take one final place at the end of the race. Jacob Hine, disappointing start to the race, only recovering to P10, struggling with damage throughout that race. And Ben Myatt, it was looking like it wasn't going to happen for a while, but an issue for Alex Wood means that Ben Myatt will be our driver starting from pole position in our third and final race coming up soon.
Indeed, it is. Ben's will be quite pleased with that, I think. Getting the reverse grid there. I'm sure he'll be wanting to make the most of that, try and stay in lead as much as he can. It's going to be a task now for Alfie. If he wants his 3 of 3 wins, he's got 11 cars ahead of him to try and overtake in the final quarter of an hour worth of racing this evening.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult race. It's going to need to be strategic with the push to passes. But with the chaos we've seen in the first 2 races, reverse the grid, we are only going to see even more chaos as everyone tries to filter through the first 3 corners, but especially through the Black Circles chicane. Avoid the tire barrier, try not to take too much of that red sausage curb on the inside. But yeah, it will be a very difficult start to this race. Will people just play it safe, take it cautiously, maybe lose a 1 or 2 positions, or will they go aggressive, try and pick up a few positions at the risk of falling into the gravel, maybe some contact helping them, and making their race even more difficult. We'll be getting onto the grid in by a minute's time. In a couple of minutes, we'll be going racing for the final time this evening.
Indeed we shall. And as I said, that top 12 reverse grid will throw a spanner in the works. Quite looking forward to it, however, as we just wait for the car to take to the grid, and then there'll be another brief countdown just so the lights go out, and we will get going for the final time this evening.
Yeah, let's just remind you of that race to finishing order. Alfie Bevan taking back-to-back wins with Pavot in second and Ash Hill rounding out the podium. Yuri Shore was in P4 with Zach Silver in P5. Sean McGardle winning in the AMS class, beating out Krona Blitz, and Johan Karlzak down in P8 overall after that late mistake, dropping them out of the battle in the top 4. Adam Elite will be in P9, Jacob Hine P10 after that early incident on the opening lap, opening corners of the race, ahead of Kankos in P11 and Ben Myatt, who we can now see on pole position. Christian Overstreet just missed out in 13th place, have Lucas Smits in 14th. Adam had to take to the pit lane and finished in 15th with Alex Wood, not able to finish that first race. Hopefully they're back with us for this final race to see if they can get some redemption. As mentioned, it is Ben Myatt on pole, Kankos alongside on the front row, Jacob Hine and Adam Ely on the second row, Johan Karlzak and Krona Blitz on the third row, Sean McGardle and Zach Silver on the fourth row, Yuri Shore and Ash Hill on the fifth row, James Pavot and Alfie Bevan on the sixth row of the grid. The lights are ready. We are about to go racing for a final 15-minute plus 1 lap race.
And here we go. 6 lights on the screen as we see them illuminate, and they go out for the final time this evening. We are away. It's contacted between the second row already as we go racing. Ben Myatt leads them away down into turn 1, side by side with Kankos for position. Inside line for Ben Myatt as he goes through turn 1. Will get the move and hold the lead for now. In the background, it's anybody's guess as to where these cars are going to filter out. Kankos, High and Karlzak very close together. Zach Silver promotes himself a position to P6 as Kankos loses third, or drops down to third and loses second to Jacob Hine as Blitz, unfortunately having a spin in the middle part of the lap, will be able to recover as, with it being quite early in the race, can regain that position, regain time to the positions up ahead, should I say, as Adam Ely fighting away, Karlzak ahead of him on the push to pass inside of the final turn. They're almost 3 wide at points, and it's Jacob Hine that now takes the lead from Ben Myatt, who both are using push to pass on cooldown, but Ben Myatt looks to have the racing line going to turn 1, but on the inside will hold the position of Jacob Hine. Ben will try and send around the outside. Actually, it's a bit too deep, and there's contact between him and Kankos, who comes out of nowhere, quite frankly, and mugs him for that third place, and demotes Ben to third place and takes the second position.
Johan getting onto the grass, approaching the chicane, not an ideal line, and loses some time. Zach Silver, though, not able to find a way to get alongside, as Yuri Shore using a push to pass towards Clark Clark is trying to take the position on the inside. They'll run side by side per exit for Ben Myatt, trying to use a push to pass ahead of Johan, but might be a futile attempt with how much they ran into the gravel. It's 2 by 2 as we head into Taylor's Hairpin. Everyone trying to sort themselves out. Careful with the cutback so you don't cut across someone's nose and take yourself out, as the order shuffling itself. Alfie Bevan already up to P6 from 12th position. Pavot is still down in 10th position, heading into T1 now, side by side. Number 5 car of Ash Hill trying to get to the inside, and they'll look to the inside from Alfie Bevan, but not able to make a move on Ben Myatt. Zach Silver in P8, or was in P8 fighting, as that's Ash Hill across the inside of the track there on the grass. Luckily gets onto the track safely, but has dropped down to P10 as everyone else still trying to find their place in this field, as it's still fighting down towards Taylor's Hairpin. Adam Ely defending the inside from Kankos. Karlzak looking to the inside to try and make a place up to try and get into the overall podium positions. It's going to be a drag race out of the Hairpin, all of them on the push to pass as they come across the start finish line towards turn 1 now. Can Johan, looks like, yeah, Johan will get the move done and will slot in between Adam and Kankos. A little bit of bumper-to-bumper contact, but everyone keeps going cleanly as Johan now up into third place. Adam Ide, their next target.
I'm very surprised the faster drivers starting at the bottom of that reverse grid hasn't really gone in. Well, I say hasn't gone up into the positions as more than I thought it would. As I say that, Alfie Beaverin, our winner from last time out, started in 12th, is now actually making moves on Jamesy Pavo for 5th. But I would have thought these guys would have been able to make up more positions sooner. However, the nature of this circuit, and of course with it being a single make car for this championship, the Club Racing Championship, it's proven to be potentially more difficult for them to make their way up through the field.
Adam Ide chasing down Jacob Hine at the front of the field. That gap is only a few tenths as we see this battle. Ben Might now down to P10 as Ash Hill takes 9th place and is starting to challenge Sean McGirdle, but Ben sends it back down the inside into McIntyre's, and Uri Shore is going to try and take advantage of this side-by-side through the chicane. That's very difficult. Bouncing over the curb is Shore, compromises their momentum. Ash Hill with the cutback gets back up into P10 to try and hold on to that position, trying to start putting pressure on Ben May again, but they'll have to keep looking in that rear view mirror. On the push to pass is Roy Shore. It's going to pull them alongside. It'll be the outside for Shore as they get to Taylor's hairpin. On the inside, Ash Hill much more conservative on the brakes, but a little bit too wide perhaps from Shore. They'll have to slot back into line, and Ash Hill now using the push to pass. Ben May on cooldown will be vulnerable as they head towards T1. Look to the inside for Ash Hill, and they'll be moved on before they even get to T1. They'll further up ahead. Alfie Bevan up into P5 now. Pavot has made their way up to P4. Mentioned them being a little further back after the opening lap. About 5 places back from Bevan. They've made that up and got themselves in front, but Bevan is not going to make this one easy as it's side by side for the lead. Adam Ely trying to fight off Jacob Hine. It's a drag race towards the hairpin, and Hine using a push to pass to get themselves in front. Johan trying to take advantage as well, looking to the outside as they get to the hairpin. Careful with the bumper overlap, but a little bit of rubbing there, which compromises Adam Ely's exit, and that allows Johan to get the cutback and will pull alongside. Pavot closing in as well. Will try and make a move into T1.
My lord, the joys of reverse grid racing. Yeah, Adam's loving it up in third at the minute overall. He's leading the Arrows, but his nearest competitor at the moment is Kankos down in 6th. However, Ben Myatt's dropping. That's a shame for Ben, as Adam takes a lot of curb going through that chicane, compromises him, and that's going to let Pavot up through into position as Alfie tries to follow through. There's contact between the drivers, and now they're both off.
That could have been worse, but the front wheel drive helping straighten it out. Kankos takes the lead in the AMPS class. Sean McGardle will take 2nd place. Adam Ely dropping all the way down to P9. Quite a bit of damage to getting into the wall 2nd time. But that has also held up Alfie Bevan, who now drops behind Kankos in back down to 5th place. Pavot into 3rd as Johan, now the next driver to try and chase down Jacob Hine for the lead of the race.
Ooh. This, as I said, this is now spicing up to be a very good race. So, Beaver's not too far behind. He's got push to pass his left. He's got the same amount as Kankos. The only downside now, his nearest competitor in pace, in terms of pace, is Pavot, who's managed to get Kankos between them too. So double work for Alfie Beaver. However, Carol Zach around the outside of the final 10 can't make it work. He's tight inside line, promotes Jacob Hine, and keeps him able to temporarily hold the lead. However, Carol Zach now gets the move done.
Much better exit with that wider line, much better traction, and Jacob Hine trying to come back in the braking zone for turn 1, but it is not a suitable overtaking opportunity. Johan is now going to try and run away with this race lead. A little further back, Zach Silver trying to attack Sean McGardle, but with Ash Hill right on their bumper as they're coming towards the chicane. Who will get the good run through here? Bit more curb from Zach Silver, opens the line a little bit, has momentum, thinking about move into Clark corner, but it's a little bit too difficult to pull off. Holding back a little bit in the mid corner to try and get a better exit, but it's Ash Hill who closes up and is on the push to pass now as they head towards Taylor Hairpin. Slipstream as well. Ash looks to the inside but decides not to commit to a move on the brakes until Zach Silver leaves the door open on the apex. Will throw the nose in, but Zach Silver on the exit using their push to pass now will hold in front, but all of this is helping Sean McGardle pull a little bit of a gap and keep the pressure off the driver second within in the AMS class, and is going to try and close up for that lead as fighting. That's Jacob Hine off into the gravel at McIntyre. Kankos running a little bit wide as well, but Jacob Hine drops to P4. Alfie Bevan into third, Pavot into second.
Indeed, and now Pavot's got clear sight at the car ahead of him. That is mainly his rival for this race. Karolzak will, I'm sure, do the utmost they can to retain that lead. However, they do have a recovering two drivers who finished first and second in the previous race, looking to retake that race lead. As we say that, we jump on board with Pavot as he's now on the push to pass, has one activation over Karolzak, and that will be something that's playing on their mind as well. Karolzak will be thinking, well, I've only got 5 pushes to go. I need to defend from this guy. He's quicker than me without it. What the hell am I going to do? Well, next 5.5 minutes, we'll definitely find out the answers to that question.
Karolzak getting a much better run through the chicane, opening the gap up to Pavot as they'll further back for the lead in AMS. It looks like Kankos has made a mistake through the chicane and allowed both Sean McGardle and Zach Silver through. Sean taking the lead in AMS class and top 5 overall. Zach Silver into P6, but Kankos trying to come back at Zach Silver is forcing them to defend in the hairpin. Kankos maybe trying to set up a better exit here. Doesn't look like they quite can, but into the lead for Sean McGardle. I'll be trying to hold on to that as the pro cars still trying to fight their way through the top 2 AM drivers.
Yep, absolutely. We'll try and get the move done. Pavot is all over the back of Karolzak now, and that's going to be almost 3 wide into the case. It's a sandwich between all the drivers, and Karolzak gets a little bit mugged there, really. A bit of contact going into the corner. He loses the lead to both Pavot and Bevan, but crucially, Bevan staying on the tail, keeping the pressure up on Pavot to try and get that race win, to make it 3 out of 3 for tonight. Don't go anywhere, folks. It is just warming up.
Who says there's not enough space to race it? Knockhill 3 wide into Clark corner for the lead of the race. Johan Karolzak, a mistake at the chicane could not be much more costly, losing first and second. Luckily remains on the podium and on the back of this train as they still continue to fight, though is down 1 push to pass compared to the 2 in front of them through the chicane, bumper to bumper. Alfie nearly pushing Pavot through there. Will he think about a move into Clark? No, will back out, give themselves a little bit of a gap and try to get the better exit as they now head towards Taylor's hairpin. Pavot sort of showing a little bit of intention to defend the inside. Let's go on board with Alfie Bevan into the hairpin. Both of them taking very similar lines. Alfie a little bit wider on the exit. Does that compromise his run? Maybe a little bit. Johan saving a push to pass to draw level. 3 minutes and 20 seconds remain plus 1 lap. That means our drivers don't have enough push passes to use 1 per lap. There will have to be a lap or 2 where they can't use it, and maybe that's the time that the other driver will be able to capitalize. It's still nearly bumper to bumper through the chicane. Alfie thinking about getting a run, though gets a poor run through there. That allows Pavot just to open up a little bit of a gap through Clark corner now. Can see a little bit more curb usage as Pavot just runs a little bit wide. That compromises their run, and that closes Alfie Bevan back up in the slipstream towards the hairpin. Will not be close enough into the hairpin, but will be thinking about moving to T1 wider now through on the entry of the hairpin to try and get a better exit, but it hasn't worked out. They've given up a couple of car lengths, so much so Pavot thinks they're safe, does not use a push to pass, whereas Alfie does use their third to last. They're closing, but it will not be close enough into T1. Pavot now with the push to pass advantage over Alfie.
Absolutely. Very quickly in the Twitch chat as we're watching this lead battle, thank you very much for the follow. Goose's TV, thank you very much for your support. Welcome. As we're trying to keep up all the action here. We didn't keep an eye on Twitch chat. Thank you so much for your follow. It is a pleasure to have you. Welcome to the oNiD racing community. As you see, Alfie now going very much in the slipstream, but now he's got a bit of an uphill battle. He's got one less push to pass. Pavot saved one, as we see McArdle fighting away. Getting very loose, actually. Or was that Kankos behind him getting very loose, trying to make the move? As we go on to what should be the penultimate lap. Alfie's on the push to pass. Pavot's still got 3.
Time is running out for Alfie. Only a few more laps to go, but only one push of the button, though Pavot running wide through McIntyre's will help close them up. But they know if they press that push to pass, Pavot will likely respond and then still have 2 more left to keep themselves safe at the front spot. Alfie maybe a slightly better line through Clark Corner there, as we just had a little look at Sean McGirdle, who I think made a mistake, lost out to Zach Silver, Ashill, Uri Shore, and that completely separates our Pro and Am classes nice and neatly. Sean still leading the way in the AMS class, only 1.4 seconds ahead of Kankos. Chrono Blitz only a further second back. Adam not too far back as well. Any mistakes could be crucial. We are now on to the penultimate lap of the race. If you've got any pushed passes left, now is the time to use them to try and make up any last positions. But don't make a late race mistake. You could regret it, as it could cost you a very vital position.
All eyes on this lead battle now very much for Pavot and Bevan. It's going to be a fairy tale finish for Bevan. If we can get this win, it'll be 3 out of 3 for this evening. But Pavot, just for now, looks like to have the upper hand, especially with that extra push to pass. I'm sure he will deploy it on this straight just to defend, as Alfie gets very close on the brakes, and Pavot indeed straight onto that push to pass, and Alfie also using his final activation as well.
The slipstream will help Alfie close in as they head to turn 1, who sets the fastest lap of the race as they chase this victory. It is the final lap now, but Pavot has one more push to pass to keep them safe. All they need to do is not make any mistakes, and they should be able to take home victory and prevent Alfie from having a clean sweep. Look at Alfie aggressively over the curb, carrying more momentum through the chicane, and could not be closer to Pavot's rear bumper through Clark Corner now. Both of them pushing the limits on the exit curb as they now make the run to Taylor's hairpin. In the slipstream they come towards the hairpin now. Looking to the outside is Alfie, trying to get the better exit, but it will be to no avail. Pavot out of the final corner uses their final push to pass and will take the 3rd race victory here at Knockhill, round 2 of our Audi TT Trophy. Ashill and Uri Shore fighting over the final pro class position. Looks like Ashill will just about hold on to P6 overall there, and Sean McGirdle will take the lead in pros, as Chrono Blitz putting a late challenge on Kankos, but unfortunately it was a little too short to take 2nd place. They'll though still be on the podium. Alex Wood a little further back will sell for P12, being chased down by Lucas Smith, by those that unfortunately had trouble in the race. They'll have to take 12th and 13th. Ben Myatt from reverse grid pole position will have to settle for 14th place. Disappointing race for them. And Chris Overstreet will round us off in 15th place, with Adam Ely finishing a lap down.
And now we breathe, as we see Pavot take the win from Bevan to Karolzak. Heinz Silver, Hill, Scorer, your pro drivers is that fish in order. It's McArdle, Kankos, Blitz, Adam Spasvik. I don't know if I pronounced that right at all. Alex Wood 12th, Lucas Smith 13th, Myatt 14th, Overstreet 15th, Adam Ely all the way down in Losum 16th. Not a bad race tonight at all. Full of action and sprint racing as well. 15 minutes per race. We weren't short of something to talk about, were we?
No, plenty of racing action throughout. Some great battles, a little bit of carnage as expected, but a little bit cleaner than Oulton Park it was, I would say, which was great to see. But yeah, some fantastic racing. And yeah, leaves me looking forward to the rest of the series that we have coming up.
Indeed, we do. Road Atlanta next week, same time, same place here on oNiD Twitch. As we also see Watkins Glen, the classic, the shorter circuit of Watkins Glen, which will be wonderful to see. Solder will then follow. God, narrow track there for Solder, and then Club Motorsports to finish off the championship in 4 weeks' time. Season 6 well and truly underway, and we have plenty of racing happening throughout the season. Not only do we have the championship here on a Tuesday, tomorrow it will be the amateurs for the SimHound Academy LMU Championship, which will be taking place tomorrow. Also here, broadcast on Twitch with myself and one of our newer commentators for the championship as well will be with me, Jarrett Page. Very good to have some transatlantic commentary on oNiD here. Thursday we'll be back in the Commons booth again. Our apologies. Wednesday, Thursday is with I've lost track. It's Tyler Hammer on Wednesday, isn't it? I do apologise. I know this is me saying, don't you, Scotty? Look at me, a lovely stream manager. Know what I'm talking about. Tyler and myself on Wednesday, and then it is Jarrett Page and me on a Thursday. Before Scott, you take over back on Wednesdays next week, so a bit of normality there. Will be good to see you back in the comments before Wednesday as well. Sunday not streamed, however, but Assetto Corsa Competizione is back in oNiD, and a championship is running on a Sunday night. Unfortunately not streamed, but nonetheless well attended, and they'll be back on Sunday. Monday we'll be back again once more with Ben Myatt in the comments booth with Tom Tozand for the LMU OLMS series multi-class racing there on a Monday night, and I get to do it all over again next week on Tuesday. I saved myself there, Scotty, just about.
Yeah, plenty of racing. You've had a couple of busy weeks with 3 streams, so I don't blame you for getting a little confuzzled, you could say.
Confuzzled indeed.
But yeah, plenty of racing action. As you said, on Sundays, unfortunately not streamed, but for those interested in racing with us, we do still have some spots on our Sunday League, returning to ACC after a few seasons away. It was back in season 2 of this year, was our last ACC season. So yeah, if you do want to get involved, there are spots for Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So there might be some spots for our Tuesday league as well. I'll have to double check. And you can sign up for a Monday series, but it is only as a reserve for when people, if people have to withdraw from the series. If you're really keen, you can do so. But yeah, plenty of racing as we get towards the end of the year. Not long to go, just over a couple of months as we're heading into November next week. Halloween right around the corner this week. If you want to get involved as well, we will be having a special little Halloween event over the weekend. If you want to take part, join our Discord, pick up the Assetto Corsa role, and you'll get pinged with all the details when it goes live over the weekend. Thursday or Friday starting, a little hot lap competition, I believe. I haven't heard too much. But it will be unique if last year is anything to go by. But yes, that is our schedule for the week. Continuing tomorrow with the SimHound Academy Cup, where Aidan and Tyler Hammer will be back with you. But until then, thank you all very much for joining. Thank you to those that followed and supported the stream throughout. Hope you all enjoyed the racing. Hopefully, we'll see you return throughout the rest of the week, if not next week, as we get into the third round. Until then, take care, everyone. Have a good evening, and we will see you next time. Good night.
Take care, guys. See you all very, very soon.